know who made it. You know who made it. You know who made it.
What is going on, Gamble Factory? It's your boy ZROB, and we got Coach T Posey, of course, ready to talk some Thursday night football between the Chiefs and the Broncos. We got another primetime game. There is no telling how this one is going to turn up because, as you can see, we got a 10-point spread. Um, the weather is kind of crazy. We got some big wind gusts, like 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, probably to be worried about. You usually hear us say we don't care about weather at all. But when you get 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, that starts changing things a little bit. That's getting a little extreme. Tyler, how are you feeling about tonight?
Yeah, I am not a big proponent of primetime games lately, or especially Thursday night games, I should say a little bit more clearly, because they have been going all over the place. It's been a lot of blowouts the opposite side of what we predicted. So that's a little bit annoying, but especially with wind gusts as heavily as 30, 40 miles an hour, it certainly makes things a little bit interesting. So a little different of a approach tonight, possibly,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm excited that there's football at least.
Yeah, exactly. Our guy Tony, he said these picks are gonna be Mega Max 6 unit, move your grandma to retirement home, Jimmy Neutron VIP premium whale surgical picks. Let's go. Pin this
Boy.
message for good luck. Our man Tony, he is pumped about it. But we appreciate you guys being here as always. Just don't forget, like and subscribe. We're getting close to that 1K mark, and we are super pumped about it. We couldn't do it without you guys. So let's cook up some slips. Tyler, you want to get started, or you want me to kick things off?
I think it's your turn to start.
All right, I'll do it. So first off, I think we should just go ahead and say like Chiefs are projected to win by 10 points at least. They have a matchup with probably the worst defense in football. The easy game script and the game script I think we're probably going to build these slips or this slip off of is just the Chiefs absolutely dominating them. The Chiefs are probably going to be on the field a lot. At least that's what I think. So I think an easy play is Pacheco over 74.5. It looks like he got bumped to 75.5 since I last took him. It's just 1 yard. As you can see, he's only hit this one time this year. But I mean, you take what you think is the worst rushing defense in football, and you times it by 2, and you got the Denver Broncos. They are dead last in rushing yards allowed per game. They've given up 187 yards per game versus second place, which has only given up 154. So that's a 33-yard difference in rush yards per game allowed. Pair that with the Chiefs being 10-point favorites. Did Pacheco just get removed, or did my computer just wig out?
Let's look it out.
Um, that's weird. It just, yeah, it's fine.
He's back. Yeah,
Yeah. But
he's there.
anyways, yes, that 75 yard rush line. I mean, that's just too low. I don't see any reason, according to game script, according to just anything about this game. I mean, bad weather, so they might have to try and run the ball a lot, anyways. I don't know. How do you feel about Pacheco today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily love Pacheco in itself, but like you said, this Denver Broncos team might be the worst defense in the history of football. It seems like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard not to go to a running back, because especially in a game script, a little bit of the weather concern and the horrific defense that's been allowed. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just think that line is a little too low. I think the books agree they're bumping it already, because it was pretty heavily favored over 74.5. So
Yeah.
they just bumped it a yard, which a yard's not that big of a difference to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just don't see why they don't have to. I don't see why they would have to pass it any much at all tonight, really.
Yep. And I have a really good prop that I think kind of correlates with this too. I'll go ahead and say that if you don't mind.
Yeah,
It's
go ahead.
Mathis over 4.5 tackles and assists. So this guy has been a tackle monster this year. He's covered this in each game. Um, if we think the Chiefs are going to be on the field a lot, Mathis is going to have plenty of opportunity to cover just 4.5 tackles and assists. I know earlier he was at minus 143. It looks like it's kind of changed to like, it says minus 134 in the optimizer, but there's been a couple books I think that's changed to like 5.5 for his line. I think the 4.5 line is just too low, in my opinion. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I haven't looked much at Mathis today. I didn't actually look at a lot of tackle props just because I didn't know where to go with the line. But yeah, it's looking at like minus 145 at 4.5, and he's pretty much ate all year.
Yeah.
Cornerback,
He is a
which is
cornerback, but
I guess that means it will. I mean, but I guess he probably does come down and run support, because teams do everything against him. So he probably is a little bit of everywhere.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't do a lot of research, so I can't comment too much on how I would exactly feel.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good one. I mean, I like that the odds are there, and then like he's obviously covered this a ton. I mean, his last like 15 games he's played, he's covered it 10 times. He's covered it all year this year. So I just don't see that it matters. I mean, several of these teams like have ran the ball a lot against the Broncos, like the Dolphins. I mean, they put up 70 against them, so they just teams that have been on the field a lot versus this Broncos defense. So
Yeah, he just kind of essentially do. He has just so many opportunities to make it happen. So
mm-hmm.
hard to believe he wouldn't get it.
Yep.
And especially if we think that they're going to just run the ball a ton. So
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess one of mine is Travis Kelce's touchdowns, because it's almost like a wagon prop at this point.
Yeah.
He just seems to, obviously, it's Patrick Mahomes' favorite target, and he's scored every single game this year except one. Weirdly enough, Denver is just terrible. I just think the Chiefs are going to have so many opportunities to score, especially with the spread being the way it is. And even if Pacheco racks up the yards, there's still plenty of opportunities for the Chiefs to be in the red zone. And obviously, we know that Kelce is the number one option pretty much anytime you get close to the red zone.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to him. I mean, honestly, early and often you can kind of pick your poison against these Broncos. They've given up like their top 10 in yards, top 3 in touchdowns given up, and like top 10 again in receptions given up to tight ends. They're just getting shredded in every facet of the game. There's nothing they can do to stop anything, and especially somebody as talented as Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. So the touchdown prop I do like a lot. I don't trust anything else because I don't know that they'll need to use him a ton, but I do think they get opportunities to be in the red zone, and the odds seem to favor him scoring a touchdown pretty heavily at minus 145. So going to take that all day.
Yep. I mean, if the Chiefs are going to score 28 points like the books are projecting, like Travis Kelce's probably going to be involved in that. And, he is banged up. He's got an ankle sprain, but, like, he's cleared to play today. Um, I see no reason why they'd run him out there if he wasn't going to play his normal-ish workload. Obviously he may be one of the first starters removed if they get up big quickly, but
Yeah, but if they do get it big, like we always say, he should be one of the big reasons involved for that.
hmm no, I 100% agree. Do you have another one?
Uh, I've looked at a few more. Just props that seem pretty spread out for me today. I'm not a big fan of the whole slate itself, but I looked at uh, Riley Dixon's punts. I don't think I'm gonna end up taking it, but I think I'm gonna go to Russell Wilson's completions, and I'm gonna take the under.
Yeah,
I
I'm sitting
know
here looking
that's
at that
gonna,
on the optimizer
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
I know that's a little bit scary because of the game script, and it's tough. But the weather being the way it is, I just don't think he's. I mean, and especially the odds. The odds have shifted pretty heavily under 21.5 at this point.
Yeah.
He's only hit. He's only hit it twice this year, and they're obviously in bad game scripts anyway. One of those being that 70-20 absolute ridiculous massacre there, and then the first week against Las Vegas. But the other weeks he's not hit it, even in bad game scripts where they still have been losing. So I still like the under. The odds are really good against that, so I'm going to take the under there.
Yeah, no, I just don't see him being very accurate either. And like you said, the odds shifting down on his prop, and we're getting him at 21, and he's favored under 20.5 on some books. So we're getting pretty good value, I think. And you can see it's 55.15% on the optimizer right now too, which is definitely pretty solid. Our best value prop that we've taken actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So honestly, my favorite receiving weapon tonight for the Chiefs, and I really like this prop a lot, is Kadarius Toney, 29.5 receiving yards. So the win being, as in play as we think it might be tonight, the Chiefs are going to probably look to some shorter, quick passes, some screens, and I was looking into this. Kadarius Toney is actually the number 2 wide receiver target on the Chiefs, despite really not playing a lot of snaps this year. They've trended upward each game, but he's 5th on snaps on wide receivers this year, but 2nd in targets. So when he's on the field, they're looking to get him the ball. And then I was looking. I don't know why my Prizepicks keeps glitching out like that. I was looking they've thrown 12 screen passes to receivers this year, and Kadarius Toney has been the recipient of 9 of those.
Golly.
Yeah, so I just think it might be another game where he's seen a little bit uptick in snaps, maybe around 30. He gets targeted maybe 3 to 5 times, and I think he can cash this receiving yards line pretty easily.
Yeah, that's low, especially if they're going to involve him in the screen game that way.
Yep, exactly. And he's had some of these games he's had some bad drops too, but it doesn't seem to matter. They still give him more snaps, and Patrick wants to get him involved. So if he doesn't drop any passes tonight, I can see him going over this fairly easily.
Yeah, I agree. I like that one a lot as well, and especially with when you bring up those numbers of just ridiculous screen numbers. That honestly is a little crazy, but I mean it makes sense. He's a gadget type player, a smaller guy, struggling with drops, so they try to get him some easy passes, easy work. So yeah. That makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah, and our guy Ty guy, he said seems like such a sharp read, but it's hard to trust Toney. That is true. So we just gotta trust. His snaps have trended upwards almost every week, except for week 3 when he didn't play for whatever. He only played 2 snaps. But it's hard to argue about those targets. 3 of the 5 weeks he's played, he's seen over 5 targets. So hopefully we see 5 targets again tonight. What else you got?
I think
you got another one?
Well, we can go with another one that I do like it. All right. It's not anything in love type prop, but Nick Bolton over 7.5 tackles.
Is he back tonight?
He is back tonight.
He is.
He has not played in a couple of weeks, so he's well rested. they're not going to rush anybody back on a Thursday night game unless they're ready to go.
Yeah.
It's just not. There's no point to do that. So obviously, I think he's well rested. I think Kansas City does as well. And his tackle prop is 7.5. So we took his season long prop here at like 150 something, which is closer to that 8 to 9 a game mark, and he's been pretty much essentially. I guess it's a little bit more than that, but essentially right around that each game. Kind of struggled out the gate against Detroit and Jacksonville, got 7 and 8, and he still struggled a little bit. So I think he gets back tonight. He's not played in a little bit. He's rested, and I think he has his way. And especially since the weather is kind of the way it is, like Denver goes and throws some of these shorter passes because I do think they're going to struggle a little bit getting down the field, and Bolton's going to be even more involved. Trying to or getting involved in those tackles, especially those running backs coming out the backfield and those smaller dump down passes that I think Bolton kind of eats up tonight.
Yeah, you got to think that the Broncos, any passes they do complete are going to be underneath, might be running back, wide receiver screens, stuff like that. So, I mean, the Broncos are they would love to be able to run the ball effectively and try and make that work. So, I'm sure they're going to come out trying to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. I don't think it's going to be too successful, but I mean, you never know. Crazier things happen on Thursday night. So,
yeah, I think, like you said, I think they'll try as well. I think there's no way they can abandon the run, especially with how bad this offense has been, and Wilson just not been all that great. He's not been bad by any means, just hadn't been great either. So yeah, I think they try to get to the run, and that's when Bolton will eat.
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully he has like 5 at halftime. That'd be sweet. I could definitely see it, especially in the first half. I think he racks up more tackles in the first half today, probably just because Broncos having to pass a lot more in the second half, more than likely. Another prop I'm liking. I mean, I know we got 6 right now, but how do you feel about Javonte? I had him. I think that.
Well, I've gone back and forth. I might have missed news on what's that dude's name? Samaje Perine. That's the only thing that concerns me with I think the prop that you're about to mention.
Oh, you haven't seen news on him or on Perine?
Yeah, I guess Perine is playing. Right? I don't see anything saying he won't. And I think if you're gonna say receiving yards, right?
Yeah, Javonte's receiving yards.
Yeah, and I like that too. But my only concern with that one was just how much work Perine's gotten in the passing game. So when they've been down, they just throw Perine in. And that could be a product, too, of Javonte's kind of been injured, and they just go into Perine. But even Perine last year ate into Mixon's passing volume. Because, I mean, last week, Perine, 4 catches. So he's involved, too. Like, he's certainly involved in especially, like, those third down situations or any time it's a 2-minute drill. It's Perine's drive. So that concerns me is the only reason.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, the Broncos have 3 running backs they're probably going to mix out tonight. So, like, I mean, Javonte probably only plays like 40% of snaps. So,
yeah,
but I do like his receiving yards still tonight. I mean, 11.5. He could hit this on 2 catches. So,
yeah, I agree. So you look at Perine. He's last couple weeks he got 4 catches, 3 catches, 2. I mean, he's heavily involved. That's my only pause. But like you said, like 11.5, they're probably playing from behind. They're probably going to try to get the ball dumped down because I don't think they'll be as super effective in the air, especially with the wind being as difficult as it can be or should be potentially. Having to dump it down to him is certainly highly likely.
Yeah, which Russell, he's also targeted running backs at least 6 times a week. So, just in general. So, Javonte's going to get 40% of snaps. Not several, but like a few of those are going to go his way.
Yeah, you got to think so.
Alex asked about Justin Watson's receptions.
I thought about it. 1.5. He's more of a deeper guy, deep threat guy, like big play. And so it does worry me with not having to throw the ball as much in this weather or with his lead. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I went away from it. I think the odds are pretty good.
Yeah, you get minus 120 on DK.
Yeah, and he's been active too, so he's been involved. I think he's hit that last couple games in a row again.
It's tough with these Kansas City receivers, though. I mean, like 1, 2, 3. There's 4 of them have over 15 targets. And then you have
Yeah,
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who's on the field a lot, or a decent amount, but
just
has
doing
11
nothing.
targets, So, like, man, he's actually played the most snaps of wide receivers, but has the 5th most targets, so it's weird. But he's a deep threat guy, too, so.
Yeah, Watson's got 2 catches every week, but one
Mm-hmm.
with this one, and then another week with 3. But he's not very involved. Like he's getting he's getting 3 targets. You just better hope he catches one of them.
Yeah.
And that's on good weather days, even too. Like this one's not going to be very good. It's going to be windy.
Yeah, I agree.
That wind is going to be extreme. It seems like. So if that is the case, then I don't think I would play it personally. I think that's just a fade for me.
What's your favorite prop?
Oh
If
boy,
you had to choose.
probably. I mean, if you're making me choose, I'm probably going to go Kelsey's touchdowns just because he's a wagon and
Yeah, I
they're
mean
going to have so many opportunities to score.
it's hard not to say that's my favorite one too. Probably on the
Yeah,
Broncos side, man, it's tough. I'd probably I don't know, man.
tackles prop.
Maybe the tackle prop, just because the Chiefs are going to be on the field a ton. So, but it's hard to argue with that Russell Wilson kind of little value that we get at 21 on Prize Picks.
Yeah, that is true.
I can't believe you didn't bring up a punter, man.
I mentioned it in passing. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't play it. You really want to have full confidence in your punting knowledge before I throw it out there because I am undefeated right now. I've called punters at 100% accuracy rate.
That is true.
So I
You're
do
not
want to
willing
make
to
sure
put it
I
on
pick.
the line tonight.
Yeah, not willing. 4.5's a lot. I do think the Broncos are not good, and the Chiefs are obviously much better. But I just don't. I mean, I can see the Broncos having to go for it a few times and miss out on some points that maybe they would have gotten.
That's true.
So I think the 4.5 probably would not be ideal. I would probably have taken it at 3.5 and put it out there, because right now technically I'm 100%, and I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the best lines and ones that I feel 100% on, especially with my guys who kick the ball really high.
You were supposed to say that. Yeah, I absolutely love him at 4.5 because I actually played him in my slip I posted on Twitter. So McKinnon rushing receiving yards. I mean, dude, actually love Jerick McKinnon. What's that 25.5 rushing receiving, and he's it just sucks because like it seems to be Pacheco's show, but they're still mixing in some Clyde, I believe. Let me look at snap counts real quick. Yeah, I mean Clyde's not at last 2 weeks not playing as much, so it looks like McKinnon's around like 30% snaps. It really does feel like it could be a McKinnon type game if he just catches like one decent pass and goes for a touchdown. Like I feel like he always kind of performs well on primetime games for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, no stats to back that up, guys. But I do feel like it as well. Like for me, I mean, you may have stats to back it up. But
No, I don't.
It does.
It would be
like
interesting to know like how many times McKinnon has scored a touchdown on primetime games. So
it certainly does feel like that, though. I definitely agree.
But that's it. That's what we're gonna lock in. Let me kind of zoom out.
I need to lock this in myself.
Zoom out and get it all on the same screen. Is that what we're gonna go with? Man.
I can't see your lines, but I think so.
I'm zooming it in. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'll bring it up in a second. Make it look good on the screen. There we go. Pacheco, 75 rush. Damari Mathis, 4.5 tackles and assists. Travis Kelce, getting a tutty. Russell Wilson, less than 21 completions. Kadarius Toney over 29.5 receiving yards, and Nick Bolton over 7.5 tackles and assists.
Yeah, I think that's the move.
I think it is too.
We're locking it in now.
Are you gonna post that in Chalkboard?
Well, I'm not able to lock it in currently for whatever reason. I don't know. So I have to restart my computer, and I really do hope it works this time, or my phone, because I'm in a place with not great signal. So, as you all know from Chalkboard last year, I do struggle with signal at times.
I'm gonna try and lock it in real quick, guys. Just give me 1 second. Prizepicks likes to bump our slips. They haven't bumped anything yet today, which is weird. I feel like the last like 3 or 4 streams, they've bumped like at least one of our plays while we were
Oh yeah,
streaming.
yeah, definitely done it midstream several times.
This is kind of a weird slip.
It is an odd slip. I can't lie. All right, which one am I missing?
All right, I got it locked with no bumps.
I can't still play. Can you send me your copy link?
Yeah, I got you. It's generating it right now. All right, guys. Well, we are gonna get out of here unless there is a question that comes in. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Make sure you like and subscribe. It helps out a lot for real. We're getting close to that 1,000, so you guys get us there. Tyler, you got any last words?
Let's make this weird game into some weird cash.
Heck yeah, dude. 25x. Wait, we went 4-2 on Monday, and funny or not, our 2 favorites are the ones that missed. So unreal. Well, yeah, the 2 favorites did miss, didn't they?
Yep, that's it.
Difficult ask. Pacheco touchdown over. Yes, I think he scores. He probably scores a touchdown.
I would. Yeah, if he gets 4 shots at their favorites, we get 28 points or so. Then yeah, I think he probably sneaks one in.
Sutton reception over. Any thoughts on that?
It's got small odds on the over, but I don't trust anything about the Broncos essentially. So I'm not going to take it, but it's the odds do favor a little bit. So
Yeah, I think it's
not the
solid. I
worst
think
play.
it's solid.
Yeah.
Denise, let's make the weird work. Let's go. Love it. Our guy Zach said y'all like to stream. Definitely do that. Appreciate that a lot. And what's the reasoning behind Tony? Just because the high win gust today. Probably see some more screens, more underneath throws. Tony, his snaps been trending upwards. And he's actually targeted a lot when he is on the field. So just seems like a good spot. If you're going to choose a Chiefs receiver, that's my lean. So what 2 would you pick for a 2-man? I think we said Kelsey touchdown and maybe Mathis tackles and assists. I mean, it seems like we like the props on the Chiefs side a lot. We're just the Broncos side, just kind of weird. It's kind of weird tonight. So, all right, guys. Well, we will be back Saturday night. Not sure the time exactly, but usually like 8 or 9 at night Central Time. So, we will see you guys then. Let's cash out tonight. 25x is incoming.